Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Regular viewers will know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. At some point I will come up with something different to say, I assure you honestly. I say it for new viewers so they know what I do. But today we're taking a look at this fantastic little camera. This is the Canon G1X Mark III and it's a little beauty. It's basically a compact camera with a fixed lens, a built-in lens, so it isn't interchangeable lenses like the Canon M range, the Canon EOS range and obviously many other cameras on the market. And what makes this particular camera so special is the fact that the lens is a zoom lens. And as you can see there, that is a zoom lens. Take the lens cap off. That's one thing I don't like about this camera, lose the lens cap. That could be said with any camera though, mind you, couldn't it? It's just a tiny lens and it's such a babby lens cap, you know. But there we go. So this is the Canon M6, not M6, G1X Mark III, and it's Canon's flagship APS-C compact camera. The APS-C sensor is bigger than the 1-inch sensor found in the lights of a G7X Mark III. This is their latest 1-inch sensor. Sorry, that's not it. That's for Nikon. Oh Lord. This is the Canon G7X Mark III, which has got a nice 24-70 zoom lens. I think it's 24-70, can't remember. The thing with the G7X Mark III, gee, God, these names do me head in. The G7X Mark III, the problem with this, I say problem, it's a 1-inch sensor, so you're not going to get the same image quality out of it as you will the G1X Mark III. But it's a great little camera. I use it quite a bit, 4K video, and I have actually done a review on that little camera. But the G1X Mark III has a 24-70 equivalent lens, and it has an APS-C sensor, so you will get better image quality, certainly in low light, and the image quality of this camera is outstanding. I'm absolutely blown away by it. I genuinely am blown away by how good this sensor is. Apparently it's the same sensor in the Canon 80D, so, or a very similar sensor, 24 megapixel sensor. And you can see here it is so compact. It's not the smallest on the block, because I say the little Canon is quite a bit smaller, much more compact to slip in your pocket. This will slip in a jacket pocket, but it's not small enough really to go in a shirt pocket or whatever. You probably won't be able to see it. It's deceptive really, because it doesn't look a great deal smaller, but it actually is quite a bit smaller. The G7X Mark III is. But you know, very nice designed camera, really nicely designed camera. Nice little grip. I enjoy walking around with this, but I have found a few issues that niggle me. To do sort of with the grip and placement of some of these controls, which I'll go through in a moment. But what this camera is competing with is it's competing against the likes of the Ricoh GR2 and the Ricoh GR3. They're the current APS-C compact cameras, but they only have a fixed lens, and that's why I don't like them. They've got a fixed 28mm wide-angle lens, which is very much like the Nikon Coolpix A. Now this Nikon Coolpix A is a very old model now, and it's not made anymore. Very nice little camera, and again, image quality is outstanding. Yeah, I've got no complaints with image quality on this little camera, and it's got a 3-inch screen on the back, but it's not a tilty-walty screen, it's a fixed screen. But my biggest criticism with the Nikon, as with the Ricoh and the Fuji X70, they've all got great sensors, but it's a fixed lens. So it's a fixed 28mm lens, and I just find that for what I want to do a little bit limiting. I went for the Canon, well, as well as owning the Nikon, but I went for the Canon simply because, let me just turn that off. I went for the Canon because it has got the, well, it's got an articulating screen, but that's a bonus. But it has got this variable lens, so you can zoom in, you know, and zoom out. It's basically a 24-70 lens. So it's a mini DSLR effectively, because it will give you pretty much DSLR or mirrorless results. You know, I say DSLR, it's nothing like a DSLR because it is a mirrorless camera. So it's very much like the EOS 80D, 70Ds, 90D now, isn't it? Yeah, and so forth. It's got your articulating screen, which you find on many of the Canon cameras. I've got it on my Canon M50, which is at the back here, filming a sort of a wide shot. But unlike the Canon M50 and the D80s, D90s, and so they've got interchangeable lenses. So of course you can adapt lenses and put different lenses on. This is the 18 to 150. That'll fit on the Canon M range cameras. Very useful lens, but look at the size. That's the size of the lens. That's an 18 to 150, mind you. But this camera is designed as an all-in-one, so the lens is actually built into the camera, and as I said, it's absolutely fantastic. So let's just go through some of its functions. Articulating screen, as I said earlier. On the top you've got your mode dial, and that's selectable. You hold well, it's actually push buttons. You push a button in to turn it to the setting that you want. I've heard a few people criticise that. I actually quite like that because it means that it's not going to move. It's locked into place, and I actually do like that. Little bit fiddly to use, but then it's a small camera, so smaller you get, the fiddlier they get. That's part of the course, isn't it? Hot shoe for flashes or external microphones. Although I say external microphones, there is no mic socket on the camera, no mic connections. It's more designed for external flash. Shutter release on the top there, on-off switch, and exposure compensation. I have occasionally knocked the exposure compensation down a bit or up a bit, so you get it out of a camera bag or you're walking around like that. You know, you do sometimes knock it, so that's something to be, you know, cautious of. It is clicky, so you know it's not that bad. And then you've got your command dial. I call it command dial on the front here for adjusting exposure, basically, whether it be shutter speed, aperture, whatever. Depends on the mode you're in. If you're in aperture priority, that'll change the aperture. If you're in shutter priority, that'll change the shutter speed. So on and so forth. And if you're in manual, then that'll change. I think that's the shutter, and that's the control wheel on the back here will change the aperture. I think, you know, is the how it works, or the other way around. And then you've got your record button on the back here. As I said earlier, tilty-wilty screen, which I love. I say that with a bit of reservation there. I do love the tilty-wilty screen, but you can see what you're doing. You can use it for vlogging. You can tilt it in any direction. That part is great, but I always worry that I'm going to snap it off, you know. So that always, you know, concerns me a little bit. But I haven't done it with any of my cameras yet, but I prefer the sort of screens that tilt upwards, you know, like that. As opposed to tilting, sort of articulating like that. But there you go. But it's good. It's good. I'm not knocking it. It is good. So that's your articulating screen, and it's a full touch screen. So you know, I've explained this in other reviews. Canon implement their touchscreen amazingly. I love the Canon touchscreen implementation. It's constantly shutting itself down. I expect the battery's running out or run out. Oh, the battery is flat. Let's put a new battery in. So let's talk about the battery while we're on the subject of batteries. It takes the same battery as the G1X Mark III, a little Canon, don't know what it is. It's a Canon NB13L, little Canon NB13L, about 200 shots per charge. So it's not great, but it's not bad, you know. And they're tiny little batteries to carry around as spares, aren't they? So, and that just slots into there, nice and easy. And one SD card slot which obviously you wouldn't expect anything else, but one SD card slot in the bottom, which is good. Slots in there, lovely jubbly. No, that battery won't keep shutting down now. That's better. Yeah, we've got full battery. So that's basically the layout of the G1X Mark III. Very, very nice. And let's say image quality from the G1X Mark III is outstanding because it has got that large APS-C sensor, which is a great advantage over the likes of the 1-inch sensor cameras, such as the G7X Mark III, the Sony RX100s, the Panasonic LX, oh, I don't know, TZs, isn't it? TZs 80s, TZ100. I've got a Panasonic LX100 here, which is, again, another really nice compact camera. And that's got a micro four thirds sensor, although it doesn't use the full sensor width. It's a bit smaller than micro four thirds is what it's using. That's a nice little camera. That's a kind of one up from 1-inch sensor, but not quite as good as APS-C sensor. So yeah, that's the touchscreen. That's what I was about to say. The touchscreen is absolutely outstanding on the Canons. You can touch the focus. You can probably won't be able to show this here. So at the moment I'm in shutter priority. So this control wheel on the front here will alter the shutter speeds. Whether that shows up, who knows? I don't know. It has a control ring around the body of the camera, and you can see here it's got this control ring here. Now I haven't mucked around with the settings on that. That's actually set to zoom at the moment. As you can see, that's zooming the picture in and out. And you can set it to be to ISO, to aperture settings or whatever. I've just left it set to zoom settings. But what I really love about the Canon cameras is the touchscreen implementation. It's so much better than most of the other manufacturers. Nikon's damn good, but this one's excellent. So obviously you can touch the focus, but you can just say I want to adjust the ISO, just touch the ISO one there and you can just move that, or you can use the dial on the front of the camera to adjust the ISOs. So once you've done that, let's get out of that, you can do the same with the aperture. So you can just touch the icon and then that'll adjust the aperture, and the same with the shutter speed. So it's not terribly important that you're setting, you know, physical buttons, because it's such a small camera. It's very difficult for the manufacturer to, i.e. Canon, to have lots of function buttons on the camera. So what they've done, they've made the touchscreen functionable. Touchscreen functionable, you know what I mean? I love that. I mean, it's great. I use it a lot. I didn't think I would. I'm more of a button person, but I'm becoming more and more familiar with touchscreen, and I'm really enjoying it. You have got obviously your physical buttons on the back here for certain things, you know, and that's great. Menu functions and what have you. And it does record video, but it doesn't do it in 4K. It only does 1080p. So straightforward enough. Video quality is fine. It's nothing exciting, but it, you know, gets the job done and it's fine. So that's mainly the functions. As I say, nice tilted wheel screen. Now handling is great. Well, mainly great, but there's a couple of niggling things that annoy me. So, you know, we're out and about taking photographs, and this control wheel on the front here does irritate me. And it irritates me not because, you know, it's great to be able to adjust the settings, and it's great that there is on such a compact camera, a control wheel there. But I find the way my fingers grip it like that, so as I'm walking around, I've got it gripped like that. I'm constantly changing the settings because it's so easy to move. It's not a really firm click. And I'm forever having to double check I haven't changed the shutter speed or changed the aperture. I find that irritating. And I'm trying to figure out different ways of carrying it so that I don't knock it. But you know, as I'm walking around like that, I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. That is irritating. But this finger here does knock that setting. And the other thing that irritates me is the on-off switch. Oddly enough, as I'm getting it in and out of my camera bag or out my pouch, it's normally on my pocket. That gets knocked. I don't know why I knock it. It is recessed. It's not like sticking out, but I do knock that, and I find I try turning it on while it's in the bag, and the lens is trying to, you know, extend. So I kind of wish that had been put in a different. Well, I do wish that had been put in a different place. But to be fair, that's the only two real niggles of this camera. And you know, obviously, once you know the niggles are there, you have workarounds, don't you? It's not a big issue, but it is annoying. That's my biggest annoyance, is where they've put the control wheel. I don't like it on the front there. I find that just gets knocked too easily. It has got Wi-Fi and NFC to talk to the Canon app. That works fine. With an Android phone, you just tap the phone, but I can't do it because I'm using the phone to control my Osmo Pocket. But you just tap it on the bottom of the camera and it loads the Canon app reasonably quickly, and then you can transfer what images you want. I prefer the Nikon's approach with SnapBridge. With SnapBridge, you can set it to automatically transmit the images to the phone. As long as the phone's, you know, turned on and the app is running in the background, it's constantly transferring the images, and you've got them immediately ready to upload to Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. I know different people will have different methods. They would prefer the Canon method simply because it's not creating you know, heavy storage space on the phone. So, you know, but it works though. It does work. So, but there we go. That's the little Canon G1X Mark III. There will be another review coming, showing me using it, and me and Joe will be going out and about doing some photographs with it. But I have put some images online here, so you can see. Mind you, YouTube doesn't do justice to the quality of any of these cameras, so it's kind of pointless, but I will put some up. There we go. That's the Canon G1X Mark III. A little compact, not so little, but compact, mirrorless, all-in-one camera, which it's my favourite little compact camera. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this useful. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button if you found this video useful. And really appreciate you watching it. Thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye for now.